Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. So, I'm going to be giving a top 10 ranking of the Heroes of the Month since the game was released back in 2017. Now, this list is not going to include costume version of those Heroes of the Month, and I will include the latest version after the buff. So, I hope you enjoy this list. First up, at number 10, we have Celine. She was released back in 2018. She deals 143 damage to all enemies, and all enemies get 34 minus attack for 4 turns. She deals extra damage against ice, and she dispels buffs from all enemies. Now, Celine at the time was awesome, and even now, I mean, she might not rival the top heroes now in terms of stats and even damage, but I think her attack down and dispel is still pretty good. The only problem I have with Celine is she deals damage and attack down before she dispels buffs. So if you have a taunt hero, she will deal that damage and attack down only to that hero and not everyone, as opposed to someone like Louis, where he would dispel first and then attack everyone and then gives the defense down to everyone. Nevertheless, she's a decent hero. That's why she's at number 10. Albrecht comes at number 9. He was released back in 2017. His special is revival of 33%. With heroes that get revived get 23% HP. All allies regenerate 612 HP over 4 turns, and all allies regenerate moderate amount of mana over 4 turns. He was awesome at the time when he was released, and that was the trend with most Heroes of the Month till Taloria and Vela came out. They nerfed them. A lot of people got upset and they quit the game. And since then, the trend was just to release shittier heroes or shittier Heroes of the Month, I should say, because they're easier to attain with higher chances, and they're there the whole month, and with every portal you can pull them. But nevertheless, Albrecht is still awesome. His best use is in Rush War. He's still being used by people who don't own the other revival heroes. Obviously, he's outclassed by some of the newer revival heroes, such as Mother North, Custom Mother North, Custom Heimdall, Charon, and Dabria. But nevertheless, with his moderate amount of mana regeneration, he's still a good hero. So with that, he gets number 9. Number 8 comes in Kanchan. Kanchan was released back in 2019. He recovers 42% health, gives defense down 34% for all enemies, dispels status ailments from all allies, and gives ailment links for dark heroes for 46% defense against Holy. Now, Kanchan, I would say until about a year ago, you would see him in a lot of defenses. He was tough to kill. And I would see why he would be put on defenses. He cleanses, gives defense down, and also on top of this, he has a huge heal, and he would resist defense down. For all these reasons, he was put on defenses, but now the problem with him is he's at slow speed, and we have a lot of fast and average heroes that heal the same, if not more amount, in addition to boosted health with other abilities. So for that, he was a little bit phased out. Nevertheless, he is still usable, and if you have him and you don't have any alternative healers, he's still an awesome healer. And for that, he gets number 8. At number 7, we have Neath. Neath was released back in 2019. She deals 200% damage to all enemies, reduces the mana of all enemies by 20%. She gives minus 35% accuracy for all enemies for 4 turns. And she also has an element linked to all holy allies, which gives them 4% mana generation. Neath is an awesome hero. She received a buff, I think a few months ago. I believe she used to deal 150% damage, but now she deals about 200% damage. She is an annoying hero to face, and I still see her in a lot of defenses, mostly a tank. And if she fires off, she's just a pain to deal with. She reduces your mana, she gives you blind, and with the damage as well. And if you don't have a healer and she fires off, you're just you're just doomed because the other heroes are going to fire off and annihilate your team. So I think she's still a good hero to this day. And for that, she gets number 7. At number 6, we have Hell. So Hell was released back in 2017. She deals 315% damage to the target and nearby enemies. She deals minor damage. The target and nearby enemies can't gain mana for 3 turns, and she deals extra damage against Holy. Simple, special, but very devastating. She's a great mana control, and she's still used in offenses. I don't personally own her, but if I do, I would definitely level her and use her in offense. The only issue with her is that she does not prevent enemies from firing their specials, but she prevents them from gaining mana. And for that, she gets number 6. Number 5 is Mickey. Mickey was released in 2019. He gets 130% additional normal attack to all allies, and it can stack up to 170% of normal stack. He also gives silence for 5 turns, and this was buffed from prior. Now, Mickey is one of the most sought heroes, especially against Titans. He deals tons of damage, especially against Fire Titans. He's used a lot in Mythic Titans before the Pengi meta. He's also used a lot in Rush War to control mana of Alphax and Ludwig and the other heroes. He's still very much relevant. I know people who have multiple copies of him. I never personally got him, and all to this day, I want to get him, and I never got him. But he's still an awesome hero. So if you get him, you definitely need to level him up. And for that, he gets number 5. At number 4, we have Grimble. Grimble was released in 2019. He destroys all minions from all enemies, deals 235% damage to all enemies. And for every minion he destroys, allies get a small amount of mana. So Grimble, when he was first released, I would say until about a couple of years ago, I was seeing him in a lot of defenses, especially in Minion War. He used to deal a lot of damage, and on top of that, he would charge up all of his allies, and everyone would get to fire off. He was relevant in offense, especially when the Minion meta came about, and up to M&M being nerfed, he was being used a lot. Now he is used in conjunction with teams that contain Ludwig and Alfreich, just because of their slow and very slow mana gain. He can be used against enemies that use minions. Now, one great thing about him is he destroys minions first of all, so he is not exposed to the effect of the minions themselves. So for that, he gets number 4. Number 3, we have Kara. Kara was released in 2022. Her special is casting taunt for 4 turns. She has 74% defense against special skills, and she also gives all allies 34% attack, and she has a passive of resisting defense down ailments. Now, Kara is a special hero because she was the first hero to have 4-turn taunt at average speed. Technically, she wasn't the first. The first was Custom Krampus, but he was nerfed. But at the time of her release, she was the only hero that has taunt at 4 turns at average speed. And then Custom BK got released, and he definitely outclassed Kara. She is still a really great hero. She's still very usable. And I still see her in rush wars. I still see her in some wars as well, in defenses. The fact that she gets resistance to defense down, that's a great advantage. And she gets on top of the 74% defense against special skills and gives all attack to all allies. It's just an awesome skill. And she is very attainable at the time. So she is one of the greatest hero that I've seen in Heroes of the Month. And for that, she gets number 3. At number 2, we have Ruffian and Nergib. This hero was released earlier this year, as in a couple months ago. He steals 50% mana from the target and distributes them on allies. Deals 420% damage to the target. The more health the enemy has, the more damage they receive, up to 570%. Simple special, but very devastating at fast speed. Also has a passive of eating minions every few turns and getting mana for every minion that he gets, along with health. This hero was released at the time where Eminem was the meta, and Eminem, as you know, casts minions. So he was very useful, and I used to use him a lot against Eminem tanks. He's still very useful if you pair him with the right combination. Now, you can use him with Teddy Shiri, and he would give up to, I believe, 30 or 40% mana, depending on the mana you steal from the allies. So you can fire off Teddy Shiri and then fire him off. And if you have Khufu on top of them, you'll charge up Khufu in 7 tiles. So he is a really awesome hero. Mana control is one of the strongest skills in the game. And I think if you pair him with the right combination, you'll get the most use of him. So if you have him and you have other heroes that you can pair him with, I would suggest that you level him up. And for that, he gets number 2. At number 1, we have Evelyn. Evelyn was released in 2018. She deals 210% damage to the target nearby enemies. The target nearby enemies get minus 54% defense against nature for 4 turns. She also dispels buffs from the target nearby enemies, and she gives 4% heal to all green allies for 6 turns at fast speed. In my opinion, Evelyn is the best hero of the month that was released so far from Empires and Puzzles. The fact that she deals damage and gives a huge defense down and dispels makes her very useful. Her damage is not a lot, but her defense down and Dispel compensate for that. A lot of people want Evelyn, and they're still chasing her. She's awesome. If you pair her with two other fast green, she would totally annihilate a whole side. And her Dispel will serve you really well, especially against defenses in this meta where you have a lot of buffs, taunts. So you could use a Dispel. She can be used in wars, used in Titans, can be used in tournaments and raids. You can use her really anywhere. Obviously, there are some other heroes that surpass her when it comes to defense against nature, but they don't have Dispel, or they would target only one enemy. So for that, Evelyn gets number one. This is the top 10 Heroes of the Month that were released from Empires and Puzzles since the beginning of the game in 2017. If you like this content, please comment, subscribe, and like the video. If you have any other heroes that you think should have made the list, or other heroes that you think that should have made a higher ranking, let me know below in the comment. Thank you for watching, and thank you for tuning in. I will see you in the next one.